Being taken advantage of makes us hard-hearted and even mean. So how do we not be taken advantage of? How does one avoid this? As developing people, we want to be external considering, not internal. Well, we want to be both to be, we want to be external considering of how other people are, why they're being like they are. It's the old walking in other people's shoes to try and experience what they're going through and why they're being like they are. And internal considering is how we're reacting to how people are reacting to us. Yet sometimes doing all this external considering makes people who see us doing that take advantage of us. Some folk, let's say manipulative people, will try and take advantage of people like ourselves, our good natures. Hopefully we're good natured all the time. And this is why we have to fully develop ourselves with all our centres working, our intellectual, our emotional and our bodily centres all fully functioning. Our senses are then working properly, our spider senses, let's say. Or as someone was saying the other day, they're spine senses, which is quite true, because it's our spine that's like our nervous system. Our spine is like an antennae, an aerial, which is why we need to sit up straight when we're meditating, or lie straight if you do it from a lying position, because it's down through the head and through the spine that we receive all the goodness. So with all our senses working properly, we can be more aware of what's going on. We sort of become alert when a manipulator type of person turns up to try and manipulate us and take advantage of us. We can begin to see through the frauds, we can see through the intentions of others that are not usually to our advantage, but is to theirs. We have people all the time trying to use us to get their own way. But obviously it's up to you whether you go along with it, whether you walk away from them kind of people, or use it to your own advantage and help with your development, or make it clear to someone that you will not be manipulated or taken advantage of. And sometimes them kind of people, they take offence to that, or they should hopefully appreciate your honesty. What if I find many manipulators, well actually I do find many people that are manipulators are unconscious that you are aware of them, or maybe subconsciously they become aware that you are aware of them and that you don't want to be messed with, and sometimes that makes a bit of an awkward feeling between the two. But then that's when you send your Christ consciousness or your loving consciousness into them. Because all this kind of thing then leads to a breakdown of trust, and trust again is a very big issue. If trust is broken, it takes a lot to fix it again. Personally, I've discovered that when trust is broken, however much the people involved try to fix it, or myself, it's never the same again. There is an element of distrust in there, however small, that sometimes just cannot be rid of. But again, these are things I have to work on and people have to work on. We need to be able to forgive and move on. And I also think the old adage, forgive and forget's important, though some people find it very difficult to forget things, and they add a little notch of, if you've let someone down, or if they've let you down, we make judgments about it. I'm trying to remember what Gurdjieff calls it. We have that little list in our minds, hidden down in our subconscious, that reminds us when we've been let down by someone, which makes us a bit more aware of them next time we meet them. But all part of forgiveness comes on both sides of the people that are involved in this. Normally it can be fixed and gotten over and move on and develop, and that relationship's stronger, or more respect for each other and understanding of each other. And the demonic forces come through and try and disrupt trust. They try to put ideas into our heads that that person can't be trusted. They make us paranoid or nervous of someone. And sometimes we can pick up other people's, let's say, chaotic energies, and the little demonic forces will try and enhance it into us and make us see things perhaps that aren't there. And I've been reading this book, Dajjal, the Antichrist, by Ahmad Thompson, which was very interesting. It's all about the devil from the Islamic point of view, and he reminds us that the devil has but one eye, which is why in the land of the blind he rules. You know, most people go about this world blind, asleep, whereas the devil, he has one eye because he was in the heavens. He has known the divine, but he became half blind when he decided to take arms up against the divine, to start a war in heaven and wage that war in heaven, and his ego blinded him, so he's half blinded. You know, I don't know if he has physically only got one eye, but it's, I think, a metaphor for the fact that he's aware and connected to the divine because he's lived in the heavens, but because he, like I say, broke his allegiance to the divine and tried to, well, he became an upstart and then was thrown down to this world, or into the pit, as some say. So he became half blinded. His ego half blinded him to what was really going on. And in a way, that's what the devil does do. He tries to blind us to the divine source. He tries to make us not see what's reality, and instead see the materialistic, you know, the imaginary world that we live in. He pulls that veil down, which is why in doing this kind of work we're trying to lift the veil, as Isis says. We lift in that veil so we can see what's really happening. As Gurdjieff says, to live in life as real as possible. Life is real only then when I am, where most people are not living, they're not awake, they're not being I am, they're being asleep, so they can't see what's really happening. We have to remember that the devil is an unseen force in the universe. You know, there's that old saying that what's the greatest trick the devil ever pulled? To make people believe that he doesn't exist. So he works slyly, but not in the way that Gurdjieff talks about being sly. We want to be sly in that we can see what other people are doing to us, or what the communities are, how they're being controlled. We want to be sly in that, but still be part of it. You know, there's no way of getting out of this lunatic asylum. We have to live in this world with all its rules and regulations. There's no island that people like ourselves can go and live in and be cut off from how this world is run. So with, for example, the Gurdjieff work, it's teaching us how to live in the lunatic asylum, be a part of it, but not be a part of it at the same time. It teaches us how to see what's really going on, be attuned to it, and that's through our own development. You know, we have to have that desire to want to escape from this world, but still be a part of it. You know, the devil's intention is to alienate us from God, and also to alienate us from our true self, and alienate us from others. You know, he tries to bring chaos to the realms, to the world. You know, and as you know, as we live in this world, it is a very chaotic world. We're trying to bring harmony to ourselves, and then we can go out and spread that harmony and hopefully help other people. You know, the devil shows us an illusion, where the divine source shows us real life, real being. And that's what we're trying to be, a being, a real awakened being. We have to remember that the heart is the centre. The divine comes through the heart. The dark forces come through the mind. Which is why we need to try and pull the heart up into our thinking and our feeling and our being. But we can be distracted easily by what's going on in the world and what's going on to ourselves. But if we have trust and faith in a divine source, our heart should be at peace. If the heart is at peace, then we will have no illness. We will have no disorder or disease in us, because instead we will be at ease Our heart will be at ease with the divine. It is a relationship between ourselves and the divine source. And I know many people are waiting for God to come to them. Well, actually, the divine source is waiting for us to go to him, her, it, whatever you want the divine source to be. We have to reach up. We could gather all the knowledge and the information we want, but are we turning it into wisdom so that we understand how to live in this world? And I'm just going to end with a saying from, I think it's the Sufis, so it could be another part of the Muslim sects, from Abdullah ibn Umar. And he says, "The Prophet Muhammad, may Allah bless him and grant him peace, stood up to speak to his people, and after praising Allah as he should be praised, may he be exalted and glorified, he spoke about the Dajjal, saying, I warn you against him. And there is no prophet who has not warned his people against him. Even Noah warned his people against him. But I will tell you something which no other prophet has told his people. You must know that the Dajjal is one-eyed, and Allah is not one-eyed." So you've got to remember that the divine source, he sees everything. He's not one-eyed, he's two-eyed. Well, he's an all-seeing God. And so hopefully you can see what's really going on in your life and your world, and with open eyes go forward. So, watching me, watching you, watching me, watching you. May the divine source bless you, full of love, peace and light.